In the second season of Squid Game, the frontman Hwang In Ho returns to the game, but this time no longer as an organizer, but as one of the participants. Many people wonder what he planned to do if he suddenly lost in one of the competitions. If you look deeper into this issue, it becomes clear that his plan is perfectly thought out. Before we break down each round of the games, let's break down the reason for the frontman's participation in them. Many people have forgotten the dialogue between Oh Il-nam and Hwang In Ho at the very end of the first season, where the former talks about how playing is more interesting than watching.
I'm not going to have as much fun watching as playing.
This may seem like an obvious prerequisite for Hwang In Ho's decision to participate in the games. It would be undeniable if it weren't for one small detail. In episode 5 of the first season, Detective Hwang Jun Ho, who managed to infiltrate the island where the games are held, found some very interesting information in the archives, specifically all the winners of the Squid Game by year. Frontman is listed as the winner of the 2015 games. From this, it follows that it is not the first time he plays these games, and he knows what it is like to be a participant. He even makes a funny reference to it right in front of Seong Gi-hun during the second round of the games.
Besides, we got a previous winner with us.
So most likely Hwang In Ho isn't just participating in the games to have fun, but to gain Seong Gi-hun's trust, learn his plans, and also to teach him a lesson for his heroism. Now let's break down Frontman's ingenious plan for surviving his own games. The first game. In the first game, Hwang In Ho could not show his genius because he simply did not participate in it. This can be explained for several reasons. 1. The unpredictability of the game. Thanks to the player 230, Thanos, we can perfectly trace that there is a possibility that you can die for reasons other than your own.
Tag!
Second, chaos between players. With 455 players taking part in the first game, it's safe to say that due to their anxiety and the large number of players, no one will notice the absence of players 001, so there's no point in participating in the first game and risking your life. 3. Keeping all players in the game. Frontman's absence in the first round could also be justified by the fact that he wasn't planning on playing in the 2024 games at all. We all remember very well that Seong Gi-hun returned to the game to save the lives of the participants and end the games for good. Hwang In Ho, watching the first game, saw that player 456 is taking the lead from the first minutes. Hwang In Ho realizes that if everyone starts listening to Seong Gi-hun, the 2024 games will be in danger of being disrupted. This theory may be one of the most likely, as it was the frontman himself who prevented the games from being stopped in the first vote. He then tries to change Seong Gi-hun's mind by pitying him, telling him that he needs the money to save his wife and child.
My wife back home is very sick. She was diagnosed with acute cirrhosis and needs a new liver. Entering these games was my last hope. I have to win that prize money to save my wife and our child.
The second game. This time, Hwang In Ho becomes a participant in the game. Many people will ask how the second game differs from the first game in terms of unexpectedness, because here again, everything depends not only on one player, but on the whole team of 5 people. How could he have planned this? As many noticed, Song Ki-hoon's team was the last to be tested when there was no one in the room except for the 2 teams and the pink guards. It was obviously planned, because if Hwang In Ho's team was defeated, the guards would simply kill 4 of his teammates, leaving the frontman alive and without any witnesses. Another interesting detail that can be seen during the second round of games is how Hwang In Ho mocks and plays on the nerves of his teammates when he sees that the previous 3 have gone through their mini-games too quickly. When it's his turn to go through his mini-game called Pangi Chigi, you can see that he throws the spinning top with his right hand, even though it's obvious from the previous scenes in the series that he's left-handed. He shoots his brother with his left hand, picks up the remote control and glass with his left hand, and presses the button when voting with his left hand. After 2 unsuccessful attempts with his right hand, he decided not to risk it and threw the toy with his usual left hand, which of course helped his team to advance to the next mini-game. The third game, the most chaotic game yet. This is what plays in favor of the main character of our video. When Hwang In Ho was 100% sure that he could find partners to play the game, he played fair. If he was unsure or his presence cast doubt on his team's survivability, he was more likely to resort to the privileges of his status and play unfairly. This is hinted at by the filmmakers themselves at the moment when the frontman leaves his team and runs out of frame, and when Seong Gi-hun cannot find his friend. Another most likely theory is that the frontman knew in advance what numbers would be called in the course of the game, allowing him to calculate all outcomes without error. But it should be noted that there was a slight risk in the very last round, when the number 2 was called. The frontman had no chance to take advantage of his privileges, as all the rooms would be occupied by players, and there would be no place to hide if he didn't find a mate. So when he was paired with number 390, and when everything seemed to be going according to plan, he saw that the room he wanted to run into with his teammate was already occupied, so he had to improvise because time was very short. If he didn't kill the third person in the room, then when the timer expired, it would be problematic to kill the other two players without putting the frontman's life at risk. Let us summarize and answer the question of why there is no way the frontman could have been killed in his own games. 1. Past experience. As we reviewed earlier, this was not the first game Hwang In Ho had participated in, so he understood the rules, strategies, and psychology of the players. This experience gave him an advantage over other participants, especially newcomers. 2. Knowing all the games in advance. Many people would agree that it would be foolish to participate in games without knowing what to expect because it puts your life at unnecessary risk. Considering that the frontman has been the head of the games for a few years now, it is likely that he has already watched players play the games and can draw conclusions so that he can play them himself without too much difficulty. 3. Possible protection from the organizers. Although everyone is officially equal in the game, In Ho's status may have implied an unspoken advantage. For example, the organizers may have provided for the games to be less dangerous for him to ensure his survival, or simply not to kill the frontman if he failed. Let me know in the comments what you think about it, and what you're looking forward to in Season 3 of the Squid Game. Like and subscribe if you liked the video, and I'll see you in the next one.